With so much debate going on about Jared Goff, Lamar Jackson, and the Detroit Lions quarterback situation, Dan Campbell finally put a rest to all the conversation. We'll talk about it right here and what it all means right now on the DSN News Desk. Let's go.
Never fall back. We will stay right where we at.
What's good, Detroit Sports Nation? I am Eric Vincent, your host here at the DSN News Desk. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate your time and support because we got to take a second to talk about these comments from Dan Campbell regarding the Lions' future with the quarterback position. He just had a meeting at the NFL owners meeting in Phoenix, and a lot of media asked him some questions about the direction of the quarterback position. Got it right up on our website, DetroitSportsNation.com. Be sure to check it out. They asked him about directly Lamar Jackson and the Lions' intrigue. He answered the question very directly, and I think it's a pretty good response to what he said. The direct quote, "Look, Lamar is a heck of a talent, excuse me. Try to defend that guy has been something else. We played them 2 years ago, but man, we got a quarterback." So I'm like, we got a quarterback, and thank God we got one. So we're good, but man, he's a heck of a talent. And by heck of a talent, he was talking about Lamar. Basically saying, hey, look, Lamar's cool. We respect him. We've seen what he looks like. We know what he brings to the table, but we're cool with our guy. We're cool with where we are with Jared Goff, and we're going to move forward with Jared Goff. Now, contrary to popular belief and contrary to what the comment section may look like, I'm a fan of Jared Goff. I support Jared Goff. I'm a Lions fan just like y'all, so I want to see Jared Goff do well. I have zero issue with what Dan Campbell has said, and I actually like what Dan Campbell has said for a couple of different reasons. I've talked about it on a couple different occasions, and it kind of fits to what we've been discussing in terms of what the Lions are building. In terms of where this foundation is going and what this franchise is trying to build, they're trying to build something sustainable for the future. And it's important to establish that by keeping as many of your most important pieces together as possible. We saw that with the necessity and the urgency that they had to keep the assistant coaches together. As many as they could, try to keep them in lock. They try to keep as many of the last season back on the same roster. And I basically believe that is their way of trying to keep the morale of last season on the up and up. Now, I don't always believe that momentum carries over season to season, but when you're trying to establish a winning culture, it's important to keep some of those pieces around that is establishing that culture as you go forward. There was a lot of discussion about Alex Anzalone's contract. Now, granted, while I wasn't a huge fan of the figures and the numbers he got, I understand why he came back. I like that they brought him back because of the culture standpoint. His teammates like him, the coaching staff likes him, and they had a need at linebacker. So it makes sense to keep Anzalone in the fold. I believe that conversation still applies to Jared Goff as well. Jared Goff is a quarterback that has widely exceeded his expectations. After coming in from Matthew Stafford, one of the most beloved Lions of all time, his expectation was extremely low, especially after the first season that he had when the Lions weren't very good. After last season, though, however, you would argue it was Jared Goff's maybe best season as a pro, and it's easily his best season he's had as a Lion. And moving forward, knowing that it's only his second season here with this team, you were able to bring Ben Johnson back after all the interviews he had for head coaching opportunities. You want to keep that momentum going. And I'm 100% okay with that. Goff has played very well. He's done a very good job with what was presented around him, and we're seeing him get better as this team is getting better. The Lions are focused on building an overall football team that is going to exceed and succeed at the highest level possible. And I'm okay with having Jared Goff at the centerfold of that, especially through the last 2 years of his contract. The Lions haven't necessarily made a comment on whether they wanted to extend Goff past that. They haven't really discussed it much. But as of right now, knowing that there's roughly $50 million left on the 2 years of Jared Goff's contract, I'm okay with him still being here as the focal point under center for the Lions. With that said, I am also a Lamar Jackson fan. While I do like Lamar Jackson, I sympathize for his situation with the Ravens. I do believe he should have got paid years ago with them, and it's wild that he hasn't. I've pitched the idea, as of many others, of what it would look like with Lamar Jackson under center for this football team. I believe it could look good. I believe personally it will be an upgrade at the position, but it's not a necessity to do. Adding in a Lamar Jackson is not like what the Cleveland Browns had to do when they went after Deshaun Watson. They were trying to get off of Baker Mayfield because Baker Mayfield's not good. Jared Goff still has some good football ahead of him, and he's not garbage like Baker Mayfield is. So I understand the necessity to want to keep Goff around. He's building a rapport with Amon-Ra St. Brown. We want to see him get a little bit more dynamic with Jameson Williams, who's going to be a big part of what their offense brings. And we've seen the continuity that he's built in terms of what he can provide when that offensive line is protecting him. I like seeing that. I like seeing that direction of this offense, and I'm okay with Goff still being the focal point of that. I don't believe, I think people are kind of getting a little carried away when people bring up the idea, like even if the draft was brought up, when people brought up the idea of drafting a quarterback to be behind Goff, there was a lot of pushback thinking that people were thinking, oh, well, he has to replace him and people want to get rid of Goff. We're not saying that. Goff has earned the right to play out his contract and for sure to be the quarterback for next season. Just because you're thinking about ways to upgrade at a position doesn't necessarily mean you hate the person that's currently occupying it. I think Jared Goff has done enough to sustain some more time with the Detroit Lions. I do think there is a promising future with him as your quarterback in the NFC, and I think it would make sense to keep him on a little bit longer. Again, I'm not against the idea of him going after, or the Lions going after Lamar Jackson either, but it would cost a lot. It would not be a cheap offering to go get him. The reports are saying it would cost 2 firsts, maybe another pick, maybe a player involved, and then you're gonna have to give him the contract that maybe he's looking for or not looking for. I don't know. The reports are saying that he's not looking for guaranteed full money, which is cool to hear. But then again, we don't know exactly how much he is asking for. We don't know that for certain. But either way, I'm okay with Goff being the guy moving forward. We've seen success with him, and you're using him as a bargain right now. When you only have to pay him what he's making right now, it's a bargain for the Detroit Lions, and it gives them leverage to build the rest of their roster accordingly for what they want to do. I'm totally okay with that. The only pushback I give is when people act like Jared Goff is miles ahead of what Lamar Jackson is. And I just think that's ridiculous. I don't think that's true, and I don't think there's anything that proves that. I'm okay with people not wanting to spend that capital because they're content with what Goff has provided. I believe that's a fact. I believe there's plenty of room for growth with this offense with Jared Goff as your quarterback. And I still think that this team is heading in the right direction. I don't think he has to be gone right now. And I don't think the Lions need to look in a position where they need to replace positions and players that are already establishing themselves. I do believe the Lions are in a position where they can be aggressive and make splash moves. Like if they were to move up in the draft or, make a splash trade during the free agency period for a player of need that makes sense, I'd be okay with that. But quarterback is not a position of need. And for right now, if the Lions want to stick with Jared Goff, I'm all for that. I have full confidence that it's going to work out. I think the team around him is set up so Goff can thrive. And I'm excited to see what it looks like next season where the Lions have a lot of expectations on their shoulders. Goff as well, too. But I believe they're going to live up to it. That's just my personal opinion. But I would love to hear yours. So talk to me in the comment section. I would love to hear your feedback. What were your thoughts when you heard Dan Campbell give the vote of confidence for Jared Goff? Do you believe he's the quarterback of the future? Do you believe he should just play out the rest of his contract? I would love to hear your thoughts. Talk to me in the comment section. Make sure you like the video as well and subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. As we ramp up on our way to 7,000 subscribers on our YouTube page, we can make that happen with your love and support. We would greatly appreciate it. Make sure you tap in on our social media as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the above. Search and follow Detroit Sports Nation and lock in with me as well at I am Eric Vincent. Thank you so much for your time and support. I greatly appreciate you being here. Go Lions, and I'll see you again soon with another update right here from the DSN News Desk. Peace.